Hello everyone. So in the previous video, we have learned till vacuum gas separation, and the end products were vacuum gas oil and vacuum residue. In this video, what we'll be doing is we will learn the upgradation of vacuum gas oil and vacuum residue, and as well as solvent desalting process. So why we are now upgrading this residue or the product of VDU unit? Why is it so? The reason behind this is the products which are obtained from VDU are not pure and they are not ready for the market use. So in order to purify them and make them ready for the market use, we have to upgrade them or purify them. So this is why we are doing it. So upgradation of vacuum gas oil and vacuum residue. So how it is done is, it is done by two processes. First is physical extraction, and the second one is cracking. What is physical extraction? The extracting of impurities from the oil is done by physically solvent. For example, propane. And the example of physical extraction is propane deasphalting unit. And the another upgradation which can be done is by cracking. So the cracking is, what do you mean by cracking? Cracking is breaking of the long hydrocarbons into small molecules, so that in those molecule the carbon to hydrogen is ratio is more. I will be discussing about this further. So let us just look through the this diagram. So the cracking can be of two types: thermal cracking and catalytic cracking. So what is thermal cracking? Thermal, from the name it suggests, thermal means from the temperature or heat, and catalytic is use of catalyst. So thermal can be divided into two parts again: vis breaking and delayed coker. And catalytic is FCC, that is fluid catalytic cracking, and hydro cracking. So these are the ways of by which the byproducts or the products from vacuum gas unit are upgraded or purified. So the basic principle behind cracking. So what is the basic principle? The basic principle is to increase hydrogen to carbon ratio. So what is this hydrogen to carbon ratio? So if we take any hydrocarbons, for example methane, CH4. In CH4, the hydrogen to carbon ratio is 4:1. And now we say we take another hydrocarbon, C2H6. The hydrogen to carbon ratio in this is 3:1. Similarly, in C2H4 it is 1:2, and C6H6 it is 1:1. So we can see that the hydrogen to carbon ratio is decreasing tremendously. So why we are focusing on increasing the hydrogen to carbon ratio? Because the hydrocarbons which are having a very high hydrogen to carbon ratio are good fuels. They do not produce sooty flames, or they have high calorific value. So that is why the increase in hydrogen to carbon ratio is being pointed. So how this can be achieved? This can be achieved by two means. Either you increase hydrogen or you decrease carbon. So simple. So this is the basic principle behind cracking. And cracking is, as I already told you, cracking is a reaction in which higher saturated hydrocarbon molecules are broken down into smaller or more useful hydrocarbon molecules. So coming to the next point. How it is done in refinery? In refinery, to increase hydrogen to carbon ratio, uh, two process can be done. First is carbon rejection, as I told you earlier, and another is hydrogen addition. So the carbon rejection can be done in four ways. First is delayed coker, second is FCC, third is PDA, that is propane desalting unit, fourth is VBU, vis breaker unit. Likewise, in hydrogen addition, the hydrogen is added rather than rejecting carbon. So this is done in hydrocracking. I will be discussing all these processes in further videos, but today what we will be discussing is this part, PDA, processing of VR. So now the processing of vacuum residue can be done by VBU, visbreaker unit, or delayed coker, or solvent asphalting unit. So why only these? In the previous video I showed all the catalytic and stuff. So why only these three are used? Because in the constitution of a vacuum residue there are few metals also. So when metals are there, they interfere with the catalyst. So the processes which involve catalyst in them cannot be used because they poison or eat up the catalyst. So that is why, since the metal like nickel, vanadium is present in vacuum residue and they destroy catalysts, so we can use only these three, not catalytic processes. Okay, then now we will study the composition of this vacuum residue, or VR. So in VR, some amount of oil is also there recoverable, and another is asphaltenes and resins. So what is asphaltenes? So asphaltenes are very large clusters of naphthenes, aromatics, and they also contain impurities like sulfur, nitrogen, ammonia. So these are very bulky molecules. So and I will show you how they are present in the oil. They are present in the form of suspension. So another component is resins. So resins are also somewhat like asphaltenes, but they are a bit smaller than asphaltenes, and they are soluble in N-heptane, and they are more volatile. So these are the major components of VR. So now let us see how they are present in the this vacuum residue. Uh, so this is a diagram which I tried to make, and this, for example, just suppose this is the oil droplet, this whole big round thing, and this shaded part is asphaltenes, and these asphaltenes are supported by resins with the forces, van der Waals forces. So these are the suspension in this oil, and this oil is recoverable. So how we will recover this? And these are resins. So this is the basic structure of vacuum residue oil. So this can be, see, going back to class 12th, like dissolves like. So now what we'll do is we will use a solvent, for example propane, which will dissolve oil, and these asphaltenes and resins will settle down. So this is the basic principle, so simple, like dissolves like. So the propane is used generally in India, but naphtha, butane and pentane can also be used. Why we are not using methane? Because methane is very difficult to liquefy and use, and the operational problems increase in that. So propane is the best idea. And also, moreover, propane is very efficient in removing these all suspension, and the oil or deasphalted oil which is obtained is very highly pure. So generally this propane is not that high yield, but the end product is of good quality. So if we are using, for example, naphtha, butane, pentane, in case of propane, the yield will be high, no doubt, but the product which we obtain after this process, asphalting process or solvent extraction process, will not be as efficient as it was in propane, and that deasphalted oil or that deasphalted solvent we have to again send to hydrocracker or fluid catalytic cracker for further refining. So that's why we are using in Haldia, for example, refinery, we are using propane as solvent. So this was it. Then coming to the next. So in the one diagram we can summarize it. The vacuum residue is sent through propane the deasphalting unit, and this deasphalted or purified oil is highly viscous, so it is used as stock for lobs. Lobs mean lubricant oil base stock. And the asphaltene which is produced from this process is used for the generation of bitumen, or for the further gasification it is used.